This is a short story about Crescendo, a musical band from a small village in the small country of Holland. This story will tell of Crescendo's humble beginnings to becoming an international sensation, delighting millions around the world by performing while riding bicycles. To start, I'll need to tell you the story of two dreamers. I'll start with Crescendo's founder, my grandfather. Imagine a small village in the north of Holland, early in the 20th century, roughly 100 years ago. A flat land of mostly small farms with cows and sheep. The farmer would sell the milk to the village and to the cheesemakers. Small shops, pubs, and inns littered a few corners, and amongst them the tall steeples of village churches. That was life in 1922 for farmer, churchgoer, and 20-some-year-old dreamer Jan Barron. Somehow he found a little spare time to ponder the organization of a village band. You see, any village with an inkling of self-respect in Holland had a village band. They would play at village events, join in parades, put on concerts, and even perform in churches. He would see to it that the little village of Openda would have its band. Music was and is a significant cultural element in rural Holland. But Jan dreamed of being a band leader, holding and waving the baton, coaxing beautiful music from the collective effort of his friends and neighbors. While sipping coffee after church, he discussed his dream with others. Soon enough enthusiasm was spread, practices were scheduled, and Jan had his band. As so many others post-World War II, Jan gathered his family and left for North America by boat. Arriving at Ellis Island in 1948, he traveled across the New World by train and landed in Lynden, Washington. Sadly, he died just 7 years later, while still in his 50s. Despite World War II and the departure of their founder in Openda, Crescendo played on. I promised you a story of two dreamers. This is the story of the second dreamer, and it will bring us to today. In 1972, a 20-year-old trombonist, a nephew of Jan Barron, had his own dream. He had a vision of placing all of the members of Crescendo on bicycles. But first, he had to prove that he could master his own trombone while weaving in and around the streets of Openda. Little did Talsman know just how hard it would be to play the trombone with but one hand while steering his bicycle with the other. But that was nothing compared to convincing the dozens of fellow musicians to risk personal injury and their instruments while balancing atop a bicycle. They scoffed at him when he attempted to explain that they could learn to weave in and out of each other's path. They openly laughed when he told the flutists, trumpeters, saxophonists, and drummers that they must learn to play while steering a bicycle. Not possible, they mumbled. Besides, we are just from a small town in the north of Holland. Who do you think we are, Fakkel? And that is the difference between dreamers and the rest of us. While we claim it is not possible, the dreamer says, how do we know unless we try? So Fakkel persisted and eventually gained the trust of the members. They too began to imagine the possibilities. They experimented with different ways to both play a musical instrument and ride a bicycle. Soon adaptations and systems were innovated, and the collision between members became rare. Thousands of hours of practice proved that a band could play at a very high level while riding bicycles. Talsman's persistence paid off. Together, Crescendo overcame their hesitation and persevered. Not because of money or fame, Crescendo is made up entirely of volunteers. Nearly everyone has a job and uses their time off to perform. Talsma, now a newly retired trombonist, spent a career traveling the world teaching farmers from Ukraine to Tunisia to Brazil to become better farmers. Word quickly spread, and soon Crescendo was thrilling audiences by making something very difficult look easy. It wasn't long before all 40-plus members were in demand to perform throughout Holland. They began winning prestigious awards, and eventually they were asked to perform for the Queen. Having conquered Holland, international invitations started coming from Japan, Russia, Germany, Hong Kong, and dozens of other countries. Japan, so impressed, asked them back again. Today, they receive over 60 invitations annually to perform all over the world. Crescendo may make it look easy, but there are no others. They are the only performance band that plays while riding bicycles.
Literally riding onto Red Square now, the world-famous bicycle show band, Crescendo. The band leader and conductor, Eric van der Plug.
One country Crescendo has yet to perform in is the United States. Recently, the director of the Tulip Festival in Holland, Michigan, is at Tulipenda. A presentation was made, and from that, an invitation was made. The festival wishes for Crescendo to perform during the 2023 festival, held in May. Crescendo has accepted this invitation, however, will need help in underwriting the expenses of the international travel of 40-plus band members, their instruments, and bicycles. Additionally, Linden, Washington has invited Crescendo to perform at a cultural event to include Vancouver, Abbotsford, Chilliwack, and other British Columbian communities. This event will also be held in May of 2023.